I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going, I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where.
I don't know what you mean, Bob. Welcome back to The Five. So when John Huntsman warns that the GOP shouldn't become anti-science, he's not being helpful. He's being sneaky, because he's happily serving up the false choice between science and faith that all reporters love. But surely you can embrace science and still wonder if there's something else out there. And it's insulting to folks who believe in God while embracing science to explain what he made. Look, I know that science is supposed to cover everything except that one thing, which is why I follow evolution, but I still lie awake at night wondering what the hell is the point. So I looked at three people for help. The great magician Penn Jillette, who professes not to know. I'm there with him. And flaming lip singer Wayne Coyne, who embraces life in order to overcome the dread of death. And then, of course, there's Bill Gates. If I can imagine someone like Bill Gates creating software that runs computers, why can't I imagine someone creating software that runs Bill Gates? Either way, whoever programmed him should have given him better fashion sense. So, Dana, okay, when Perry was asked about evolution, it's not really about science. It's a way for the left to get at your religious principles and kind of expose you.
This is a political question because they think that if you are a religious person, then you must be nuts.
Yeah.
And that you are drag the country back, kicking and screaming to the days of the caveman. Huntsman, what is interesting to me about that is last May 2011, just a few months ago, he said, I will not go negative on my campaign. And then he got 59 votes in the straw poll in Iowa, and lo and behold, we have him going negative on candidates. I'm going to make one last point on this. I don't see why Huntsman couldn't have gone after the Obama administration, because if science is supposed to inform your policies, then, for example, last week when we talked about the cigarette labels, makers having to put these labels of graphic photographs on, the science of the administration tells the FDA that it would only reduce smoking by 0.088%. So it's okay if you're liberal and ignore science and try to impose your policy views, but not if you're on the right.
Yeah. I want to just, go ahead, Kimberly.
I was just going to say, what does he think he's accomplishing by saying this? He's not going to get the Republican nomination. Note to self, Huntsman. So this tells me that he's not super serious about trying to win this time around. Maybe that might fly in the general election, but before you get to the main rodeo, you got to go to the tryout first.
Yeah, I think he's gearing for a TV show.
Is that what it is?
The media and the left like people who are, quote, conservative, who then veer to the center, to the left. They don't like it when you're from the left and you move to the center, to the right, i.e. Lieberman. But it's called the Strange New Respect Award. Suddenly they like you more, and it's not about being president, it's about being liked.
Can I offer up a theory here about what Huntsman's up to?
Please.
This reminds me very much of 1964. I was a little baby then, but
yes.
Barry Goldwater took over, by great surprise, a lot of people, took over the Republican Party from the moderate conservative wing. He went on to get crushed. The moderate conservative wing then reasserted itself and got the party back in '68 and led to Richard Nixon. But the point here is, I think Huntsman knows he can't win in this electorate.
I agree.
It's way too far right, and so he's positioning himself as the reasonable alternative. And if somebody who's very right gets elected, gets the nomination, and gets killed, then they're going to be able to say, look, enough of this stuff.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Bob, because he can't walk back the two things that are really going to, or really could hurt him. Number one, the global warming stuff. He's out there saying, I believe in global warming. And the other one, the cap and trade stuff. Look, this is death to a conservative in a primary, not necessarily in a general election, but in a primary.
You can believe that anthropomorphic, whatever, human-caused global warming is happening and not agree with the remedy that has so far been put forward. Those two things are not necessarily...
but he does believe it, right? He's saying 98 out of 100 climate scientists say global warming, and he's saying the Republican Party is, at risk of becoming the anti-science party. I mean, he's got a lot of foreboding.
Like he's trying to become
You're right about this electorate, this primary electorate for the Republicans. They actually believe that there isn't global warming, which is amazing.
That's not true.
You got first. You got
most of them do not believe that there's man-made global warming.
You got to tease out all the beliefs on climate change. You can believe there's climate change. You can believe that there's man-made caused climate change. Is it significant or insignificant? Then you have to go to the next step. Is there anything you can do about it other than spending billions and billions of taxpayers' money on stupid things?
And he should know.
Wait a second. There's a lot of the wing of the Republican Party, the right wing of the Republican Party, that does not believe the science of global global warming.
No.
Well,
okay, when you find out,
agreed.
Okay, when you find out
And
that
what's
there
wrong with that?
The science, when a lot of the science was polluted.
No, it's right.
Let me
Greg,
say,
go
the
ahead.
science was polluted by self-promotion and by panic. And people, basically, the bedrock of science is skepticism. If you blindly accept
And by
the
ideology,
panic,
and by ideology, absolutely. That whole group, the Anglican University in England, it's proof that there is
global
no
warming?
basis. East Anglican.
Is there global warming?
But
Yes, and there's global cooling.
let's
About
talk
every
about the
30
solution
years,
that's
the
been-
globe warms.
and there's
cools.
global stupidity, which basically is exemplified by a lot of these people that have been spreading this
By
panic.
99% of the
That seems-
scientists in the world.
that
They're all
seems-
Not
stupid.
99%.
The thing is that Huntsman knows that we
epidemic.
should all recognize is that if we think that there is global warming and we agree to reduce our emissions, if China doesn't do the same, where he used to be the ambassador,
Right.
then it doesn't matter
It
at all.
won't matter what
Absolutely
we
true.
do. It's
Absolutely
a drop
true.
in the bucket.
It's because pollution is fungible. What happens there also happens
No,
here.
you're fungible on this subject.
All right, we got to move on. I wish I knew what fungible meant. Look that up when I get home.
Eric.
After the show.
All right. It's out at the Tea Party. It's another prime example of incivility in Washington, and we will play you the tape next on The Five.
Hear me complain.